So welcome everybody. I am Ratish Pandey from Action Coach, and I have with me Shubham, a very young entrepreneur based out of Nasik, and he runs an organization called GFresh. Welcome, Shubham.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to have you. I'm having over here.
Yeah, thank you for agreeing to to this interview, short interview, and I'm sure a lot of entrepreneurs globally are going to learn from your experiences of how you're managing to work with the farmers and help them get better prices. So with that, let's start. Let's start this, and I have a set of questions, and I'm sure you'll enjoy answering them. So, Shubham, last 5 years, you started from scratch and you've built a pretty strong business right now. So what do you attribute your growth to? What really made the difference that you were able to scale up your business phenomenally?
So there were multiple factors when we started. Soon after that, COVID hit us, and then there was a huge demand from the different locations. The farmers were also in stress that they were not able to sell the produce which were produced, and there was no market available for them. There was no market linkage, so we pumped in and we reached out to our buyer network, which we were already having. So last 9 to 10 months, what we have built. And they supported us, and they sent us the requirements what they required, and we also source the produce from the farmers, and our warehouse capacity helped us to expand and grow this faster.
Great. So what I hear is, number one, there was COVID around the time that you started this business. Number two, because of COVID and the lockdown conditions, farmers were really looking at how somebody could help them. You came in, you offered the solution, you had the warehouse facilities, so you could basically collate everything together, and then because you had the buyer network, you could actually feed the buyers and provide them with quality produce. That really sort of got you going. And after COVID, how did that change? What happened after COVID?
It would help us to grow faster, to reach out to the newer clients and newer farmer base. So initially we started from a small village, and now we have expanded to complete Nasik district, and we have expanded to our network beyond Nasik district. So the farmers from almost 150 to 200 kilometers reach out to us to sell the produce, and they come to our warehouse traveling 150 to 200 kilometers, and they get a better price, they get a proper service, they get respect. Many of the locations they doesn't get the respect what they want. So the farmers are very happy to sell the produce to GFresh even after traveling 150 to 200 kilometers from the farm.
Great. So I think another aspect that I pick up is that your growth came from the brand that you built and the services that you provided, on both sides, to your supply chain on the back end and on the front end with your customers. Right? So great. Right. And that's a great way to sort of build and ensure that both sides are happy, and you've been able to sort of raise the ante for your business. So as far as I understand, and I know some because I work with some other farm producers in my area, working with farmers is a pretty tough business in terms of time. You start early in the morning, and I believe you wrap up late in the evening. Does that happen with you too?
Yeah, definitely. We start our day at morning 6 o'clock. We have to reach our warehouse by almost 8 or 9 o'clock, and the process starts at 8 to 9 o'clock, and then the whole day it goes from the sourcing the produce, making the weights, unloading, dispatch, collection. Each and everything has been done in the same day, and we have a timeline of almost 24 hours from the sourcing to dispatch is to be done in within 24 hours. So the fresh produce has been supplied to the end customer also, and is been sourced freshly. So we don't stop the produce.
So it's a 24-hour cycle for you within your warehouse. Get the produce in, sort, pack, and then
transport it to
and then ship.
Right.
So that must be really consuming a fair amount of time. How do you balance your personal life and business life? How do you play that balance?
We have an off on Saturday, Sunday, so we have our personal life on Saturday, Sunday, but other days we don't have. So it's completely 6 to 9 or 10. Sometimes it goes beyond 12 o'clock also in the night, midnight.
Wow. So once you start at 6, at times you even end at 11 p.m. or 12 p.m. in the
Right.
night. Wow. That is quite a passion that you have behind your business.
Thank you.
Okay. Huh. Over the past 5 years that you've been running this business, I'm sure you would have increased your employee strength. There will be many more employees that you work with, right?
Right.
So, and I believe this is your first business venture, right?
Yeah. This is my first business venture.
And you're quite successful at that. So, congratulations.
Thank you.
What is your biggest learning as an employer since you started running this business? So, as an employer, what's your biggest learning? What is it that you would, if you were to speak to other entrepreneurs who are also employers, what's the magic mantra that you would want to share with them?
Don't see as an employer or employee. It's a family for everyone. So we consider it as a family. That's why we grow so fast. So we treat them as a family member. So it doesn't have any pros and cons for us. So everyone work as they are they're doing for their own family.
So you've been able to build that ownership within your employees,
Right.
that they treat your business as their business.
Exactly.
Phenomenal. So how do you do that? How did you do that? What was that secret sauce?
So the secret sauce is that whatever they needed, as and when time permits, we support them in multiple ways at the ground level, at the financial levels.
Yeah.
So what they require is to be fulfilled by us. They will fulfill our requirements also. It's a give and take process.
Okay. So basically, you take care of them financially in terms of giving them the right support, not just financially, but otherwise also. If they need something in the family and everything else, you sort of take care. Great. Okay. So these employees that you hired, how did you choose them? What was your process of recruitment, or how did you go about saying, hey, this is an employee that should work for GFresh and this is an employee that I choose not to hire?
So we choose the majority of our employees from the local networks only. So we haven't bought from the major towns or districts. We source them from the local ground levels only. So they understand the environment, they understand the ecosystem. So they are major fit for the operations. What we're doing.
So basically, they understand the local language, the culture,
Right.
they understand the farmers, and therefore they are the right fit for your business. So you mentioned, Shubham, that you start from the village and now you sort of across district, the entire district of Nasik,
Right.
able to build this. I'm sure, given the fact that you've been extremely successful in doing what you've been doing, your vision would be far bigger. Right. So how do you think that you are going to, or how do you think you will be able to scale up this further to multiple districts or multiple states, if I may ask that question?
Right. So we are working on technological solutions which are going to help us to scale faster and grow faster, which is the key mantra we can say for our expansion plans, what we are doing. So currently we are also working on some technological aspects which will help us grow our business exponentially fast and sustainably growing. It's not just growth has been happening, but it's really sustainable, which we can have a long-term business with our future farmers and the customers, what we have built, the trust here. So the technology platform is majorly for the farmers who wants to sell the produce to GFresh at a convenience point. So they get multiple services add-on from us, so that they don't have to roam around for multiple services and for multiple for multiple expenditures. What they want to do, whatever they require is at a one-stop solution.
So the point that I'm making is, So this technology platform will enable you to add multiple districts to your portfolio, or how will it pan out?
So the technology is majorly for the farmer facing farmers for the sourcing purpose we are implementing, where we'll be able to source the produce from the farmers easily, and the farmers are able to sell the produce from their farm gates directly. They don't have to travel long distance to our warehouses. We'll be opening our own warehouses close to the farm gates, so that they have a convenience of not traveling, and they will save the cost of the logistic part.
Okay. So basically, if the farmer logs on to your app or whatever, I guess it will be an app, and places his order that saying, I have so many quintals or so many metric tons of produce. This is my geolocation, and then your supply chain team will pick it up, go to the farmer, assess, pick it up.
It can be both process. They can pick up also, and they can drop the produce to the nearest warehouse what we are building in the ecosystem.
So you're building multiple warehouses so that you're able to really scale up your supply chain. Great. Now, with growth probably on the downstream, you've already fixed this. What happens to the upstream? Upstream? How do you ensure that your buyer base increases, that you are able to sort of sell all what you buy?
So we are already having a decent buyer network of almost 300 plus clients across India, and in some of the export markets also. So we are not able to fulfill their requirement as of today. So we are just able to fulfill 20% of the requirement which has been coming to our books. So it's a long way to go just to handle 300 clients, and then we are eventually exploring newer markets also, and that will help us for the expansion plan. So demand and supply is going to be matched by us only.
Yeah, and that was my point. It's great to get the supply chain going on the back end, but if you don't have much to sell. So quick question on customers while we're talking. What do you think your customers look for from GFresh?
They look for the appropriate rates, quality. Quality is a major concern every client has in terms of locations, in terms of every client has a different requirements also in terms of specifications. So we have to deal with that particular requirements, and if they are happy with the service, they are good to go for long-term relationships.
Yeah. Okay. I have another interesting question, Shubham. Although your experience as an entrepreneur is probably 5 years, but if I take the clock back to 5 years, and if I were to ask you, what would you have done differently 5 years back on the same business? What would you have done?
So this is the second business model we have tried. The initial business model was like having an application and farmers to directly sell to our buyers, but it doesn't work, and we pivoted from that, and now we are working on this successful business model.
And why was that? Why your marketplace platform did not work?
So we found out one of the major issue was like the farmer doesn't understand the quality requirement of the buyer side, and buyer doesn't trust the farmers for the quality. So there should be someone who is going to take care of both the ends at a sustainable level, who is going to balance it. So we came into picture that instead of doing this platform, we can have the sourcing platform and the sales platform at a different level. So we'll do the sales on our from our books, and the farmers will sell to GFresh. So farmers have the security of the payments and the qualities, and the client has the security of the whatever the produce we are procuring from GFresh are completely as per our specifications. So there is no chance of default or claims.
Very good. So basically, you started off with a marketplace model, and as you rightly picked up, and I'm sure the experience also would have been the same. The expectation from the buyer side and the supply side were two different things, and therefore you stepped in finally in saying, okay, let me come in, let me balance the quality, let me balance the expectations, let me sort back separately so that I can look at what customer is looking for, what quality product, and offer that same. Great. So you've already sort of evolved there.
Yes.
Great. So time management, of course, if I understand correctly, is a challenge for you, especially the 5 days that you really work 6 in the morning till 12 in the night. Hats off to you, Shubham. That is creditable.
Thank you.
So another question, although we discussed some, where do you see yourself in 5 years, your business, and how do you think it would evolve in the next 5 years?
So in the next 5 years, our vision is to be the one of the leading players into the Indian ecosystem what we are building today. Top categories of the ecosystem, and we are planning for that IPO in the next 5 years.
Going to the market. Congratulations. All the best.
Thank you.
So one last question before I wrap up this. What are some common misconceptions about running a business? What would be your advice to other entrepreneurs who would be listening to this great interview of yours?
So the misconception is, we can't say the misconception, it's about the risk-taking capability of each and every person. So we should take risks, and if we succeed, it's a boom, and otherwise we have the other options ready for us. So every time we should take risks. Risk is the main enabler for the growth and the success.
And of course, linked to risk is the profitability.
Right, definitely.
So be ready to take risk, and if you fail, there should be a plan B, just as you put a plan B in place. Great. Shubham, thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. And it's my pleasure to being on a platform for the interview. Thanks.
Well, the pleasure was ours.